schedules, routines, daily flows, whatever you want to call it. Our new homeschool years will be here soon, and with it, new schedules. Hi, I'm Tricia, and I'm a homeschooling mom to 3 kids. We are starting our 12th year of homeschooling. 12 years. My youngest wasn't even born yet when we started, and now he'll be a 5th grader, so it is crazy to me that we are already here. But along the way, I've learned a lot about schedules and setting them up, especially for those of us who for whom it doesn't come natural. Okay? So today I've got some tips that I want to share with you as you look ahead to your new homeschool year. My children are, I don't know if you can see them, the sand behind us, they're hidden in the sand. They've covered themselves up. So while they're doing that, and my daughter and her friend are down on the swings, as teenagers tend to do sometimes, I'm going to share with you our tips. So before I get started, I'm going to use the term schedule routine kind of interchangeably because for us, we keep an eye on the clock, but not strictly. So kind of somewhere between them. So the first thing I always keep in mind is what requirements do we have that are out of the home? The things that are non-negotiable. Online classes, co-op classes, standing lessons, or standing appointments. Those sorts of things that I can't just skip if we don't get to them. And these tips are in no particular order. Number 2, think about when each student works best doing whatever. My daughter has to start her day with math. That's just been since she was much younger. And I don't know how much of that is because that's just what we've always done, and so that's how she works best, or what. But if she tries to start with other things, her day just doesn't go as well. In comparison, my older son likes to start his day with reading. And again, he's done that for years. So is that just what he's used to? I don't know. But that's what works well for them. Now, if you're a new homeschool parent, you may not yet know what's going to work best. But you can think about it. Do you have a child who's slower to start in the morning? If so, you're not going to want to start with something that's a difficult subject for them. And maybe you want to start with something that's even slower paced, like starting them with some reading time, that sort of thing. Number 3, something that I did a couple years ago when I thought, okay, we have to get a little more structured in our day. As my daughter hit middle school, I was just feeling like we really needed just a little more structure to our day. So I started with our general framework of our outside commitments. And then I just started with her and didn't worry so much about the boys and what they were doing. I mean, I tried, but I really wanted to focus on one child at a time because I knew that once I got her into a routine and then myself into that routine, then it would be easier to slide the boys into a more structured routine as well. So if you have multiple children and you're kind of overwhelmed with the idea of a more structured routine or schedule, start with your general framework and then focus on one child, getting them set up. And the next tip, last year, what didn't get done and why? For me, when was it? I think it was 2 school years ago. History wasn't, 2 school years ago. There was a bug that just landed on me. I don't know what it was. I apologize. 2 years ago, history and science were spotty at getting done for us. And I realized part of it was because of the timing. So that school year, I couldn't make much of an adjustment as far as when we did it because of everything else. But I did find a workaround of getting our history on audiobook, and so we could listen to it in the car. That helped. This past school year that we just finished, I moved it to the last thing in the morning. It was a simple change. We used to do it in the afternoon, right after lunch. But you know, sometimes after lunch things go haywire. And yeah, things went haywire. By moving it to right before lunch, we got more done. We generally were able to finish everything before lunchtime, and history and science consistently got done. You may get lucky, but chances are you're going to spend those first 4 or 6 weeks doing a lot of tweaking on the schedule. And that's okay. It doesn't mean that anything's wrong with the schedule. It just means that what your family looks like on paper is different than what it looks like in real life. So don't feel discouraged or anything. Just go into it with the mindset that you're going to tweak it, and if the schedule isn't perfect, and that it probably won't ever be perfect, but you can, with tweaks, you're going to make it fit better. Now, if you're like me and you have schoolwork that you do with each child independently, what I have found really helpful is to make sure that, like, to schedule our day such that my chunk to work with one student is happening while the other student, this is just for my 2 boys, my daughter, high school, she doesn't need me like that, but my chunk with one boy is going on while the other one's doing independent work, and then flip. And within that time, that if they finish everything before they need me, or before I'm ready for them, I should say, that they have alternative stuff that they can do, and that they know what those alternatives are. I've also found it really important, and I just use like little Post-it notes or something that when they get to something in their work, if they're stuck on their independent work, to give them some way that they can mark it so that they can ask you during their mom chunk. Because, like with my daughter, I would find that she'd keep wanting to interrupt me, which when my boys were young, it wasn't such a problem because it just wasn't such a problem. But when they got older and I needed to have stronger focus on them, I couldn't have her interrupting me. So I started giving her little Post-it flags, and then she could just put them on the pages that she needed help with. And then I wasn't getting interrupted. She still could ask me. She could complete everything else. And then when it was my chunk with her, then we could start with each of the things she had problems with. So if I had younger kids, this is something that I would have started. If I could go back and do it again, this is something I would have started when they were young. And then that brings me to my next one, which is make sure you have a schedule, and I like to put it on the wall, of where you're supposed to be during each time. I like to have a schedule that shows like what each child, when their chunks are for independent work, but also then at the same time, like who I'm supposed to be working with. Because it helps me to know, obviously, what's going on. And the kids can also look at it and see what they're supposed to be doing, when, and what I'm supposed to be doing. Your schedule is not something to live or die by. Sometimes we really get anxious that, maybe we're running 5 minutes off the schedule, or it's 12 o'clock and nothing's been done, or whatever. And so then we negative self-talk, and we get frustrated with our kids, whatever. Life happens. Moms, you know that, I know that. And adhering too strictly to a schedule can really make it difficult for you to just let life happen. Within a school year, it's not unusual for our schedules to tweak a few times throughout the year because things just change, and that's okay. Now, if you're interested in seeing some of our schedules that have worked at various grades, you can go check out the playlist right over there, and you can see I've got a bunch of grades over there. Something second grade and up. So you can go check out those, and I will see you over the next video.